Now please help me in welcoming Julie DuBose.
I'm really not in the mood to sit down, so I might not. We'll see. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's great. And I'm not really, this is my first book. And so this is my very first book reading, so to speak. And I thought maybe it might be good to start with you all talking a little bit about why you're here. Why did you come? Is anybody here a photographer? Yes? You are? And there's there's one down here. I'd like to introduce Michael Wood. He's my partner and cohort, and he came here from Canada with me when I came back from, came here to Boulder from Canada with me. Anybody else a photographer? So you're a photographer. So, yes.
I just wanted to add that what drew me to your book and your conversation is that I write and actually bought a camera because I feared it would disrupt the way I see. So,
You thought writing would
no, I figured playing with a camera would disrupt the way I see, and so would shift how I see, how I'm walking around the world, and then shift how I write. So what you're talking about is interesting to me.
Have you read the book?
No.
Okay.
But the blurb scene.
All right. Does anybody have anything that they're particularly drawn to about contemplative photography that might help me understand what you're interested in? Anybody want to offer anything?
I just know that I'm a relatively recent photographer, really, but I've been doing a lot of it. I started with a project, one of these online, photo a day theme, where they send you a theme, and I did that all last year, and it was just mind-blowing how I just started to see things that I'd never seen before. And one of the things that I actually saw, which is not quite in keeping with that, but I've seen your photography from your workshops on display, I think at Cafe Soleil.
Yes, that's
and
right.
I just was, just very taken.
We
with
just put up a new exhibit.
that. So I was, very drawn to that, and so I've been on your website a few times.
Oh, that's
I'm
good
just
to hear.
intrigued.
Yeah, great.
I'm not a photographer, but when I take a picture, I've just had this, I like to have one vertical thing right about here, and this is the end, and then I love diagonals in pictures. Whether that has anything to do with photography or not, but that's what I seem to.
Are you here because you're interested in photography?
Oh, I love it, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm not a photographer.
Yeah, you are. Do you carry your camera with you?
No, I should, but I don't, no, unfortunately.
Well, it's good to have a small camera.
Well, I have my phone, but that,
Well, it's a small camera. Yeah. I find I see a lot more when I have a camera with me. It just reminds me to see.
And I think you learn a lot from the photographs you take. So the next time you can say, well, I can do that a little better, or, there might be something that you missed or that you got too much of,
Very true.
Julie, when did you, can I just ask questions?
Yes, absolutely.
When did you start doing photography in the style that you're doing now? And I don't mean to just say it's a style. I know it's
In this particular way,
right.
yes.
I mean, the photographs have a particular, very clean, precise, composed, colorful look to them.
Mm-hmm.
And, in Michael's book, you have a number of photographs there, but at the same time, your photographs have a different flavor than, say, other people, even though there's a similar style.
Well, to start with, I took my first class in 1998. and I took a number of courses with Michael and with a group of people that you undoubtedly know. And that was the beginning for me. And I had no photographic experience, really, not really. And I had no confidence in any visual abilities on my part. And so it was a little bit of an act of faith, but I knew Michael at that point, and I had a lot of trust that, you know, it was going to be okay. I could sort of like extend myself, and I wasn't going to get slapped down, which was really true. And I think this is one reason why I wrote this book, was because I'm somebody who doesn't care about anything that, well, number one, makes me feel small, and number two, doesn't have joy, and number three, doesn't really allow me to express myself in a natural way. And I think that's why I wrote this book, to encourage people to begin to trust that there is a way for them to have genuine experience of seeing that's beyond what somebody else thinks is okay. And that's your experience, that's my experience, that's our genuine, deep experience that's not influenced by other forms of art. Or, I mean, we're going way deep here. Other forms of art, other forms of acceptable and possibly lauded art forms where everybody has the speak and they like to talk about it and they like to create value by saying, isn't this special? And none of that really interests me, because I'm really not into being special. I'm really not. And if you read my book, you'll see I've got the three main things. Now, if I have to say them, I'm going to go, okay. Openness and genuineness and confidence. And if I can express that, I know people are going to resonate with it, because it's who we all are. We all want to be genuine. We all want to. We don't want to. We can make it up. We know we all can make it up. Everyone can make it up. But so what? I mean, anyone can make something up. So what? What's really the pearl of our cultural world is the things that speak to all of us and resonate the truth of being human. And that's what I think this does. So, going back to your question, I didn't really know anything much, and that was probably a good thing. But what I did learn from the classes that I took with Michael was, if I can have my eye and my mind together in the same place, in the same moment, not offset from each other like they normally are, like, you know, you're seeing and you're distracted. So you just immediately categorize what it is, how it is, where it fits in, and move on. You don't really see it at all. But if you can bring those two together, and you can have them on the same, as Cartier-Bresson said, on the same axis, you can just, it's like a laser, because mind that's open and available, that's not distracted, that's not caught up in concept, is actually very strong. We don't really experience that aspect of our mind very often, because we're in so many pieces, in so many directions, and with so many categorized experiences that began way a long time ago when we were young. Instead of being there, we're right here, and we're just seeing. And when we allow ourselves to experience sight in that way, it's penetrated. It short circuits our conceptual mind and leaves us basically spellbound, not sure about what we're seeing, and not sure where what we are seeing fits into in terms of meaning, in terms of value, in terms of whether we like it or we dislike it, or whether we don't care about it. It's just what it is. So when mind and eye are on the same axis, then what we experience is things beyond our habitual ways of seeing. And that is, I say this in my book, this is our good news. There is actually life beyond what we can create, what we can fabricate. There is a reality beyond the limitations of our habitual ways of seeing. And when we can start to express this experience of the nakedness of our perception, our visual perception, when we can start to express that for others to experience as well, they have the same experience we do, which is amazing that we can share that kind of intimacy with each other. So there's two aspects to this that I think are absolutely worth doing. One is having that experience, first of all, of direct connection to our visual world without us being in the way, so that it can come forward and manifest as it is, not as we would like to see it. That's the first part. And then the second part is that we can express that experience exactly as we experience it through our camera, so that when you look at my image, what you see is exactly what I saw. I mean, how rare is that? There's no spin. There's no point of view. I'm not trying to tell a story. I'm not trying to communicate my state of emotional, and my emotions at that time. That's just not the point. The point is fresh. Fresh, awake, vibrant, alive. It's the joy of being a human being on this planet. That's the whole point. Did I wander? Anybody want to say anything?